So this show is in some sense the culmination of socially engaged work that I was doing in Germany. I was talking with people about what they felt was lost or found during the political changes of 1989, 1990 in East Germany, or the German Democratic Republic. And so I did a series of participatory projects and ran a storefront space where we held events and collected objects and collected interviews with people. And that archive forms the basis from which this show is drawn to then reflect more broadly on these ideas of the relationship between the individual and society, and also the individual and the collective. I definitely think of it as each person kind of taking on the role of the archivist. When they're putting on the gloves, when they're going through the objects, when they're going through the encyclopedias, or when they're going through the archive boxes, they're doing that research themselves, and it's the same kind of research that I was doing to some degree. For me, I think it's this tension that exists in both societies. I think in East Germany, there was a lot of focus on the collective, and people were raised with a real strong moral sense of how do you relate to everybody else? How does what you do affect everybody else? Whereas in the US, of course, we're raised with a very individualistic perspective. And so in both societies, there's that tension between the collective and the individual, and how do you find that balance? There's a through line through this work that's very much about the idea of agonism, which is the idea that people you disagree with are not necessarily your enemies, but your adversaries. And the difficult thing that requires is it does require everyone agreeing to certain basic values or principles, but it also acknowledges that struggle never ends, particularly in terms of democracy. Who is at the table is something that's constantly being struggled over and constantly being fought over. We never reach a point where everything's resolved. It's always going to be in change and in flux and shifting. On some level, we all crave stasis. We want there to be a point where everything's resolved and that we can just say, okay, we've got everything fixed now, and now we can just go on. But it's acknowledging really that no, it will never all be resolved, that we really just need to sit with the fact that it is going to shift, it is going to change. Who we recognize as having a voice is always going to change and expand, and it should be changing and expanding.